That's what we hear coming in from IT companies across Bengaluru and the rest of the country.
2025 is when AI agents clock in.
Big question here is, can AI really take over jobs?
These agents aren't flawless. Some of them are in the development stage. They have their own car crash moments.
Hey, hi Madhul. How you been doing? First of all, thank you so much for taking out time and being here. So how you been doing? How's life treating you?
Thanks for inviting me, Dhruv. Life's good. All fun and entertainment's happening. How's life with you?
Life's been very great with me also, Madhul. So Madhul, instead of me giving out your introduction, let's do things bit differently. Why don't you tell your own story, what you are doing, how you get there, how's been the journey actually? And yes, audience would love to hear straight away from you.
Sure. So I'll give you a quick brief of what I do. I work as Chief AI Officer at SoftView. My job is mainly helping clients and my internal team leverage AI and get the most efficient version that we can using the advancements in artificial intelligence. So I've experience of roughly 8.5 years. I have experience of roughly 8.5 years. I serve as advisor to one of AI's largest GitHub repositories. I have been invited speaker at University of Oxford, Tata Motors, Google DevFest, NASCOM, and others. I also do write and have been read by 150,000 plus times. I've mentored close to 200 IIT Bombay and Kharagpur graduates, and especially in terms of AI interview preparation. And we've been a little active on Government of India's AI web portal, and at one point they did recognize me as one of top contributors in this space. So that's a very quick brief of what I do. I graduated from NIT Meghalaya in 2016 and then did work as software consultant for 2 years. And I got a lot of hands-on on IoT there and was parallelly working with ML. And eventually that's when I found that, okay, this space might be extremely interesting for me. And then eventually switched to ML. Before ChatGPT, a lot of work that we were doing was on hardcore machine learning, where you take a lot of sensor data, predict if the vehicle is going to fail or not, or what the electricity consumption would be. Post ChatGPT, I think AI became the mainstream, and then the stories in newspapers and everywhere.
It was quite inspiring, Madhul, whatever you are doing, whatever you have done, basically. So now there is a lot of AI, Madhul. Now think of me as a newbie, a layman. I barely have any knowledge about the AI. I don't even know the difference between the AI and the Wi-Fi, let's say. And a lot of the audience also don't know this thing. So, Nadul, what exactly is AI according to you?
Okay. So I'll just take a step back and give you an explanation of what AI is. Initially, or in software, what used to happen was we would give a set of rules and then an output would come. So let's say you have a robot, and the bot is supposed to go, and it's not supposed to go and touch a hot surface, because if it touches, there's a short circuit. Let's assume a hypothetical scenario here.
Right.
So in traditionally past decades, this is what the software was about, where we instruct what should be done, and that was being done by the software. So we were providing the logic. In AI, this role is reversed. What happens is we leave that complication to the networks or to the system to understand. So in our example, we would leave the bot, okay, go explore all the surfaces in this room. And based on its exploration, it would come up to the fact that, okay, touching this surface is causing some short circuit in my interface. So essentially, earlier what was happening was you were providing logics to the system and it was deriving some results. Now we provide the inputs and the results and let the system arrive at what the logics are. So something that we observe, but we don't understand why it's happening, is that we don't understand why it is happening, or the system is too complex, is AI. It's the understanding of mapping what is happening with what was the input.
Quite interesting, and you laid out in very simple words, Nadul. So, Nadul, one thing about the AI. So, most of the use case, I would tell you. So, nowadays, there are so many wannabe entrepreneurs. You see in India now, everyone want to, start their own business or scale their own business. The whole economy is revolving around the businesses starting something new, basically, of their own. And now, because of the AI, things seem to be much easier. So earlier, building up a website or building up an applications were way tedious, way complex. That could require a lot of time and also a lot of funding. So, do you think this gap has been filled by the AI? Now things has become much easier for the new entrepreneurs as well as the existing entrepreneurs to start something new or the scale the existing ones. So how do you see this thing?
Yes. So I would break this into two subparts. The first is AI is definitely increasing our efficiency. So previously, what was possible, let's say a website development that was possible in 5 days, leveraging AI, we should be able to do that in a matter of hours. So that is what AI is enabling all of us to do. Be it market research, be it coding, be it understanding some complex phenomena. AI is doing all of this. It's helping us with efficiency improvement at an extremely good scale. And I would go on to say that this is 20 to 80% of efficiency improvement. But then there's also a second segment which AI is enabling, which is making the businesses 10x. And this is a space where new entrepreneurs or business owners are now actually looking at. How can they leverage their current business or their current understanding or a new idea, marry it with AI and make the 10x shift. And this is not the 80% improvement or reducing my work by 20%. This is entirely new segment where AI becomes a primary workforce rather than a human workforce.
I agree with most of the things you said. Now, AI is doing a lot of things we never imagined we would do. Like, building a website in just a couple of hours. You see, now I have seen many models, they are building applications through just a few text prompts. So I would just, write a few text prompts that I want an e-commerce website to sell these XYZ products. And you could just build an application in just a couple of minutes. These things you never imagined. This would take a lot of time, as we spoke, right? So now, do you think the software developers and also the coders who are working in the industry, would they be replaced in a soon time because of the rise of AI? Only the top 1 or 2% of the people from the industry would be able to survive. How do you see these things?
Okay, very interesting question. And I have a slightly different overview as opposed to what you see in newspapers. One is, of course, there's no denial of the fact that a developer who's not really leveraging AI is on a very high risk of being replaced. That's my personal take. Having said that, how I see about this industry is, for past couple of decades, what happened was there were larger software, and because the cost of creation of the software was so high, it was difficult for every company to create their own software, and everybody was leveraging a larger software. Now, because the cost of creation has gone incrementally lower, I believe every company is going to have their own personalized software which cater to just upper crust or just softwood, instead of us leveraging one umbrella which caters to upper crust, also softwood, also Google. So my personal belief is that software per person, if there's a unit, that will go higher, and hence we will need more software developers. But having said that, I also believe that the amount of work done by each software developer will also multiply over the couple of months or couple of years, if it has not already been. So if I was writing, say, 1,000 lines of code per day, this would eventually go to 10,000 lines of code per day without me spending 10x the amount of time I spend just leveraging AI. But I also believe that the amount of software I leverage will also go incrementally higher. So this will be a very demand supply, very interesting demand supply game. But I believe that all software developers that get exposed to AI will have a sufficiently higher chances of surviving or creating newer value addition to society.
Right. So there is this adaptability basically. So, when internet came in, like computers came in, those who were able to adapt the system was the ones who survived. So yes, I think here also there will be in the game of adaptability, those who adapt the AI and take the leverage of it will be able to survive and grow, definitely. So one more thing, so India is a hub of IT basically, information technology. There are a lot of engineers, there are a lot of students, so like bright students, bright young minds, who is into this speed. So recently, we saw DeepSeek coming out from China. There are multiple models, ChatGPT, Google Gemini from US coming in, and they are very much. And just naming a few that is coming from US, Europe, or let's say China. But something revolutionary we haven't seen coming out from India, despite the pool of these talented youngsters. Why I am not able to understand why India is lagging behind in this AI revolution.
Right. Yeah. In fact, last month I was in conference with few of the key decision makers and few of the thought leaders in this space, and our conversation was around this that there are two ways to look at this. One is, let's say, be it DeepSeek, be it a GPT series, be it Claude series or Gemini. All of these models, why is China able to create a model and India is not able to? This one bigger challenge is the capital intensive nature of this application. To train a decent model, this is a potential millions of dollars of investment, which OpenAI has been doing for quite some time. In India, we have not seen that space yet. Having said that, this one famous celebrity entrepreneur who has gone on to Twitter and asked that, okay, I am ready to fund creation of a new large language model. So that's one piece. Second is, as Indians, I think we are very adaptive, and in fact, Indians are relatively on the better side of leveraging this AI. We are not creating newer models, but on the leveraging AI side, we are doing a lot of work. So, in terms of Indian youth, I think we would be sooner or later we would be that population who has understood how to leverage these models fastest and develop applications on top of it. So, yes, model creation should also happen in India, and which will eventually happen because the kind of language dynamics we have in the country, nobody else has. So, an external force would never be able to create an application that suffices our need without actually using our youth. But at the same time, our it's not a completely hopeless situation. Our youth or our engineers are also being ramped up to understand this technology and leverage them to deliver a other product value.
I agree, and I can, relate this thing. So, in most of the things, most of the sectors, India might not be the first mover, but sooner, Indians are, very good at grasping or very good at adapting the things. So yes, I think this is going to be same in the game of AI also. So now, one more thing that I wanted to understand. So about the economy of India. So if you see, Indian economy is being a service-driven economy. We have shifted to a service-driven economy, wherein most of our revenues is coming from outsourcing of IT. So most of the US and Europe companies, they outsource their basically daily tasks and all those things to Indian companies because they found it relatively cheaper and efficient also. So now, because of this AI, the rise of AI, now that AI can do and automate a lot of things, do you think AI will become sooner option or an alternate to India for these US and Europe companies? How do you see these things?
Right. Yes. Very, very interesting insight actually, Dhruv. It's a bit difficult question to answer in terms of evaluating if you should actually give out the truth or not, because it might come as a very harsh wake up call. But I'll stay true to the nature of my work. So I'll give you the truth, honest answer. Is in a lot of services that we provide, be it call center services, be it BPO services, and customer ticket services, AI is going to change the landscape, and this landscape change will be extremely drastic in nature. So, and I can give you an example of a client we work with, a team of 40 odd folks sitting. The job was to make phone calls and get some feedback about the services that we have already delivered. This job, a 40-member team, was replaced by AI agents that do the exactly same job. They would make an voice call, they would get the feedback, and a human agent would not be able to make 10,000 calls a day. My AI does that. It can take the feedback, it can log, it can do sentimental analysis, it will perform end-to-end process. While for human, it's difficult job. They have to take a call, they have to be on the call for let's say 3.5 minutes. They log the entries, they have to learn English to make proper ticketing system or make proper entries into my system. So this entire cycle was replaced by agents. Having said that, the disclaimer is here that those 40 odd folks were not unemployed. They were shifted to other departments where they add a lot more value. And this is not just one case that you see. We do see a lot of these cases where jobs that do not require a lot of human intelligence involved are being questioned or are being made a lot more efficient with AI.
Right.
And so that's one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
So that's one piece where we're talking about customer service agents and others. Regarding other IT services that we leverage, I think, yes, we might see a short-term disruption in the market because, so potentially, let's say if India was creating a lakh websites per day, now a lot of these might not be needed because everybody now knows how to create a website. But in longer span, the newer ideas will be gone. So things that were not possible 2 years back are now possible now. So newer tangents of software will come into picture, which will eventually need some workforce to get this job done. Initially, maybe a lot of US and European folks would be able to suffice the need. But once the volume becomes higher, this should come back to India.
Right. So even earlier also, we used to get a lot of, calls from these agencies, but now everything is getting replaced by AI. So we get calls from AI.
Right.
So yes, I agree. A lot of things are shaping up, and in short term, there may be a disruption in this industry, which may cause a lot of people to lose their jobs for a shorter period of time. I agree. Eventually, the things will get settled down. But so as you said, this is a wake-up call for this industry, and not only for this industry. I think AI will cause disruption in many other industries. So I wanted to understand. So there are multiple sectors now that you are working in this industry. So you have a better understanding of it. So which sectors? So now even in the healthcare sector, I see a lot of new things, new inventions coming in. So which sectors you think will get most disrupted? Many people will lose their jobs into. And on the other side, I think AI will also create new jobs. So there will be a need of new people as well. So there are many sectors where there will be a creation of new jobs. So how you just tell me, like, which on the one part, which sectors will lose most of the jobs and getting most disrupted, and on the other part, which will get benefited from this. So yes.
Sure. So I'll start with sectors I think, or I as of now see a lot of traction in is one is healthcare for sure. What has happened in healthcare is not many transformative changes have come into healthcare sector for past couple of years, as opposed to a lot of other industries that were being transformed every other year. So, for example, IT has to keep changing at a very rapid pace. And if you look at the pace of healthcare, it was not exactly very fast. So that is one space where I see a lot of things changing. And in fact, a lot of projects that we are doing are changing the way healthcare is being perceived. Be it diagnostic, where the reliance on doctor is extremely high, or be it post care, where because the number of medical professionals are limited, the amount of care a patient should have got was lesser than what they should get. So AI would enable us to give every patient the amount of time they should have gotten by reducing be it documentation jobs for the doctors, or be it looking at the patient history, identifying what is the current scenario, and then evaluating that. If an AI agent can do that for you, the doctor saves say 15 minutes, and doctor can spend 15 more minutes with the patient to understand what they are feeling about. And of course, we also see a lot of transformative changes where we see jobs that can be made extremely simple in healthcare, where be it documentational job, be it clinician diagnostic, be it predictive analysis, just giving suggestions to the doctor instead of making decisions as of now. Another field where I see, and my personal opinion is, all of the fields which were thriving because the knowledge was centric. Let's take an example of a lawyer. A lawyer who has read thousands of cases and multiple books. This lawyer is now replaceable via AI because the information retrieval has become extremely easy. Now, what is different or what stands as a deciding factor is their experience, their information about how to tweak the system, how to interact with the system. But knowledge retrieval, that piece is no longer the most moat piece for that job. So that's another legal segment is where I see a lot of change going to happen. Healthcare is one, legal is one. I also see finance. I also see insurance, and all of the industries that were typically paper and knowledge based will see a lot of transformation. I would not go on to say that they will see loss of jobs, but I think the way they are working today and the way they will be working 3 years from now would be drastically different.
On the flip side, where do you see like new jobs will be created? There will be new opportunities.
Right. So on this side, I think one example is, and I'm just thinking about if I should give this example, but if you look at statistics, one of the most promising product that came out of this ChatGPT was AI girlfriend, but if you look at it from the underlying phenomena point of view, what's happening is AI is making one-to-one connection extremely easy. It might be we crave human-to-human connection, but what's happening is that people are actually using apps like AI girlfriend or AI wife and interacting with them to get this one-to-one homely feeling. And essentially what we are, or where I'm coming to, is I see a lot of increase in personalized services that will grow significantly up. So any form of services where you can, which you were until now catering to a segment, now if you cater to an individual, that would go up. I also see defense as a sector where we'll see a lot of newer things coming into picture. Now, if we look at Russia, Ukraine, or any other recent combat incidences, we'll see AI being leveraged or technology being leveraged in a way which was never been imagined before. So be it you leveraging drone to identify where should they drop the artilleries, or identify which are the places where the terrorists are hiding or where the opponents' soldiers are hiding. A lot of these things would change. So defense is one, personalized services are one. It's where I believe a lot of changes happen.
Like, I agree, there's AI in the trend things. A lot of people are using AIs to get rid of their loneliness. I talked to this on the later part. First, you spoke about a lot of knowledge jobs and operations jobs getting replaced. A lot of paper documents and all those things. So here comes a reliability part. So, a lot of your legal documentation, or let's say your knowledge, you are asking. So, you mentioned about the legal sector, right? So, you need some sort of information. But instead of, going to your lawyer or someone, you ask the chat GPT, if I have done this, you tell me what will be the implications or etc. But is it even reliable? Because more like there are many cases where, this AI models speak false, like give you a false information that too very confidently that this is the truth, you should believe. But that is not. So this is misleading many people. So do you think this is even reliable? At least for now. If not now, do you think in future that AI will be 100% reliable, that you can, just trust on the AI? So how do you see this?
Right. So AI making this falsified information or confidently speaking made up information is what we call hallucination in technical term. So what's going to happen, or as of now, what I believe is that you can't make AI liable for anything. So let's say ChatGPT gives you a response for a medical diagnosis, or it gives you a legal documentation, or it makes, let's say, as a CA, instead of CA, you go to ChatGPT, ask it to create some amendments or some draft. It does that, but you can't hold AI liable for that. So as of now, how I see this is all of this goes through a supervision of a human individual, and this is what we call human in the loop. It's basically leveraging these technologies, passing them via human, because someone has to be liable for the decision that has been made, and it can't be ChatGPT for now. So the liability will be on the person who has signed it, and they would be the person who's responsible for leveraging AI. Having said that, it's their duty to make sure whatever they are informing is correct in nature. Now, coming to the second part of your question is, do I see AI being perfect at one point of time? It's a little technical problem to understand, because this, what we call AI, is a network of billions of nodes, and there's a lot of randomness to this. So do I see models being non-hallucinating at certain point of time? Reduced hallucination, yes. We see from GPT 3.5 to current O3's version, the hallucination had reduced drastically. But do I see this going zero in near future? No, and I may be wrong. But there are other ways we currently leverage AI to reduce the hallucination. Just to give you an example, let's say we create a legal draft from the AI agent or ChatGPT. This draft now, when created, I can have a newer AI agent, let's say Claude, Anthropic's Claude or Google's Gemini, and ask it to just dissect this piece and make sure that everything it is writing is correct. So instead of relying on one model, we use ensemble or collection of models to make sure that one is generating and other one is criticizing it.
Right. Right. This is interesting, basically. So yes, and on the now the later thing, the second thing that you mentioned about the AI girlfriend or this thing. Basically, now there are a lot of people. You must have got through a lot of studies that there are more than 50% who are facing this loneliness thing. They feel lonely, and just to get a company now, there is something called AI. Now on the Instagram as well, what I've seen this AI agents, multiple characters has been built, and people just talk to them. So nowadays I see people talking more to these AI girlfriends than their actual bites, basically. So there is more information to this AI agents, AI models about you, what you do, what you eat, what you do, where you are going, basically. So everything they know how to. So there is this privacy thing. So this privacy is now no more left because this models knows everything, and you don't know what is going to happen in future, how it will react, AI models, what it will do. So is it like this is it might be a threat, basically. This is what I am assuming. What? How do you see it?
Okay. Right. In fact, privacy in AI is one of those segments which is currently under a lot of research, and there's no perfect answer to this as of now, at least. There are two open-ended questions that we see in AI. One is ethics, and the other one is privacy. But regarding privacy, what I can say is now let's take, instead of a personal example where I am using an app to enact as or mimic as a real girlfriend. Instead of that, let's take an example where I am taking the AI and making a lot of business decisions on top of it. Now, given I'm exposing this business data, this is the question I get to, I have to answer every other day to every potential partner that we interact with, is how safe is my data? And with the current providers that we have, a lot of things you can ensure that my data will not be used for training. But this again comes, there are only, I guess, there are only a certain percentage of the population who's informed enough to fill these settings. Otherwise, almost everyone is using GPT without privacy mode enabled. So that data is being used to train the models in general. And it's only that because so much of interaction is happening with these models, the models are becoming better, their understanding is becoming better of the population in general. But privacy, yes, it remains a bigger concern. And I think the way to mitigate is by educating people on how to turn off these features, how to turn on this feature.
Like, just to I will get an idea. So, like as you said, there are many people, they don't turn off their settings of privacy, and there is a lot of information being passed to these AI models, and AI models train themselves through these kind of information. So there is a every day there is a information that is flooding to this model. If you name big AI models, there are multiple millions and billions of users who are using these models on everyday basis, and a lot of information going to them. So how bad this can go, basically, in terms of everything you say, the AI models training themselves through all these data, how bad a situation can go? Because I see a lot of threat to this thing, because if we cannot, take a control of these AI models, which we obviously don't have, so how bad it can go, and how, what amount of threat it can give to humans?
Right. And in fact, even if we were not, so there's one that interact with, say, ChatGPT, this information being used to train the model. That's one piece. And it's not, as of now, it's not being extremely personalized. So let's say what Dhruv interacts with GPT is the same information goes into the same stream where Mradul interacts with ChatGPT, and the same information is being used to, let's say, potentially train a model. But those are not two different models. That's one model that is learning all of this. But if I was to take a very pessimistic scenario and analyze what's happening, as we initiated our conversation, AI understands things that we don't. And the capability of it to find underlying patterns that are not very evident on the surfaces can be leveraged in a lot of ways that you and I potentially can't talk about. Let's just take this to other extreme, where we give arms to this AI agent or weapons to this AI agent, and let's assume that this, with all of the information it has, with the entirety of web being understood by it, with millions of conversations being used to train this model, and if somehow AI gets free access to do whatever it wants, it potentially will create a lot of chaoses, and even it doesn't have the feeling, it might just be trying to optimize for a certain objective. And there might be other chaoses that can come into the system. And this is where a lot of Western countries are spending time on to understand where should we restrict AI. Should weaponized AI be allowed? Should AI decision making be allowed, especially in terms of, let's say, hiring person, firing person, or making financial decisions? So a lot of research is happening on this front. And pessimistic scenario, yeah, this can be very science fictional movie where everything gets operated by AI. Having said that, we humans are extremely smart, very good at putting in guardrails. So let's see who comes out ahead, be putting guardrails or letting AI run in it.
Right. Because at a certain limit, you will have to, put a restriction on that. I don't know how we will do this, but yes, because right now AI is just into our mobile phones and laptops and everything. But sooner there will be an AI robot in my house, doing all the things which I say, grasping all the things about me, my family, and everything. So this can go worst if we don't put a restriction on this. I completely agree to this. Uh, or one last thing I wanted to understand, and this is something very serious, which I think. So AI is advancing at insane speed. But as we speak initially, right? So there is a lot of capital which is there to train AI models, and also there is a lot of energy which we require to train these AI models, right? So now that we are getting, overly dependent on AI models. So sooner, as we spoke, there are multiple sectors so there are multiple jobs which will be replaced by these AI models and companies. Now, sooner the economies will also become dependent on AI to do a lot of stuffs. So as we grow, as we go further, this dependence will keep on rising. But this will have the implication on this environmental side, because right now also there is a lot of energy which this AI models is consuming, and now at this scale, how much energy they will be requiring, right? So what do you think? Because once we go in, there is no U-turn, I'm assuming. So right, yeah. So yes.
No, I completely agree with your point. At the energy consumption because of AI is going to go exponentially higher as we keep leveraging them. And in fact, this is going to become a national concern sooner or later, given the amount of energy we consume for this AI models. How do we derive so much of energy? How do we come up with how do we get so much of energy? That's first piece. And second is the ecological impact of this energy consumption. So yeah, that is then this is how I think the current problem is, that we are ending up spending a lot of creating major global footprint in terms of leveraging AI by wasting water, or be it carbon emission. This is happening, but I think the hope here is that sooner or later we get a lot more efficient ways to create energy or generate energy, because AI is going nowhere. So the other way is to how do we identify places where we can generate a lot of energy from. So now all of the giants will have to think in terms of how do we generate more energy. So infrastructure will become one of the challenges for AI. And apart from energy, I think this is a very well-known problem about GPUs, that everybody needs this graphical processing units to train their AI models. But hardware becomes a limitation here because the number of GPUs that are available in the market. And I foresee that similar to GPUs, electricity will also be a similar problem, where how do you get so much of energy to train the models? How do you get so much of energy to you keep using those models?
Right, Radul. So this AI game, if we don't know where we are heading towards, but obviously we are going somewhere. So sooner we will get to know where we are going to reach. So, all right, Madhul, it was very lovely interacting with you. I personally got a lot of insights to my questions, which I definitely don't wanted to ask to AI, basically. So, yes, it was quite an insightful session, Madhul. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for taking out your time. So, yes.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me, Dhruv. It was fun session. It was nice to interact with you, and especially your questions coming from all across the spectrum to identify where we can see the impact, how do we leverage this, what should be protected. It was a refreshing conversation. Thanks for having me.